into here and sneak a game with Freeze Mage, an unfavored matchup.
Yeah. Leoric has the turn 1 play, and he's got the turn 2 Wild Growth, so he is a good Druid player. And looks like he's probably just going to go face. It's usually better to go face than to give your opponent their secrets out for them. That gives them the higher likelihood of just simply top decking one of their secrets.
Sure.
And you know you're going to hero power next turn anyway, so you have the mana to finish off the Scientist when it trades into one of your 1/1s.
Or Wrath for one and draw a card, yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. So he picks up an Innervate, so nothing he can Innervate out now. But that does allow him to get out of combo very early. So if Chaos...
I was thinking Dr. Boom.
That may be. I was going to go depending on where Chaos Noob is at. But yeah, putting out Dr. Boom next turn, probably much, much better.
Do you ever just torch him in the face here?
I like it. It not only does it do 3 damage, but it puts another Fireball in your deck. It's way more damage than just a ping. More mana efficient. Yeah, I would have liked the Forgotten Torch. It gives you more damage overall, and
yeah, I'm really not sure which is better.
If that was your only burn spell, maybe you could argue for not doing it a little bit more. But since you have 2 other spells that can do the same amount of damage for removal, I wouldn't have been totally against it. But he's gonna go with the ping instead.
Yeah, so he has a few options here. He's got the Frost Nova Ice Lance, or he's got the Frostbolt Ice Lance. I personally like the Frostbolt Ice Lance. Frost Nova is going to get a lot more value as the game goes on. It kind of sucks that you have to invest so much damage into clearing minions, but your opponent only has 4 cards now, so there's a potential that you can remove everything that they play and they just run out of steam.
Yeah, and you're in an unfavored matchup, so you're going to have to clear out those big minions using the... So if you were just fortunate that you had a way to deal with it at this time.
This is the second Frostbolt. So that means that Ice Lance is not going to be able to connect for damage unless it's used with either a Blizzard or a Frost Nova.
Yeah, unable to pick up a Fireball. If that was unfortunate to have to deal with it in that manner.
Yeah, even though how tempting it is to try and discover a spell here with the Raven Idol to try and look for Healing Touch or what's that 9 mana card that heals you to full health?
Oh, Tree of Life.
Yeah, or Tree of Life. He just doesn't have very many minions in his hand, so he's going to have to use it to discover a minion so he can just continue building a board and actually have something for the Freeze Mage to freeze. Put pressure on the opponent.
Picks up a good one with the Shredder. Very resilient to AoE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, arguably one of the best minions. Just in general, right?
Sure.
I mean, obviously he would have preferred a Dr. Boom, but...
double Dr. Boom would have been disgusting.
He's got a lot of damage here. He could potentially cash in one of these Savage Roars if he wanted to.
And something to kind of think about is if Chaos Noob had done a Doomsayer to try to clear, if Leoric was able to do enough damage with that combo in hand, he could have set him down to a low enough life total that the Doomsayer goes off and Chaos Noob actually kills himself with the Doomsayer from the Boombots exploding. That could have been...
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that almost happen in an earlier game.
Yeah, I was kind of building off what you were pointing out earlier, so definitely trying to learn from what you were saying earlier in the cast about that and apply it here. Seems relevant again.
Well, this is the end of all of the Druid's minions except the 2 drop-off piloted Shredder. Chaos Noob is likely assuming his opponent has combo pieces in his hand. Well, the piloted Shredder drop plus the combo is going to spell the end. So he was really hoping there that the piloted Shredder drop was small enough so that the combo plus it wouldn't kill him, and then he could kind of just completely dealt with the Druid's board, but... It
was kind of unreasonable. He only needed a two attack minion out of that to have enough damage. So
yeah. When you get in those bad matchups, though, those are the risks you have to take.
Yeah.
If it works out so that combo doesn't kill him, maybe he can slow down the game enough to stabilize, but... was not meant to be for him. Turns out Freeze Mage still loses to Druid.
Yeah, it was his out in an unfavored matchup, so he went for it, and unfortunately didn't work out for him. So that will mean that Leoric is going to take the series 3-1, which means that he will win the 3rd place in Elephino Open number 15, So congratulations to Leoric, and congrats to Chaos Noob, fourth place in a 256 player
Hmm.
tournament. Definitely no small feat. So both showing
Yeah.
high skill level plays, and we want to thank them real quick again for playing in the tournament. Hopefully we'll see them as skilled players in future tournaments.
Yeah, hopefully that they can put these BlizzCon points that they're earning here to good use and make it to the America's qualifiers, the regionals, all of that good stuff, and we can keep seeing more of them.
Yeah, both earning 1 point in the spring season of the Hearthstone Championship Tour. So we're going to take a quick break here for the last break of the cast, and then we will come back with the championship match, which will be between Dots and Karajan. So, championship match coming up. You don't want to miss that. We'll be back soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Elephino Open number 15. I am still Elephino. Firebat is still my co-caster. We are getting ready to start the finals match between Dots and Karajan. Let me show you the bracket real quick, so in case you're just joining us, you can get caught up. We've played through 256 players. They played best of 5 conquest with a ban to get here, and now we are down to these 2 players in the championship match. Firebat, you want to go over their lineups for me real quick?
Most definitely. So we have Dots. He's got Secret Paladin, and he has a Face Shaman deck with some extra minions in there. Seemed like it was teched to really target the Druid matchup as well as his other decks. And then he has a Zoo Warlock, pretty aggressive Zoo Warlock in there. So all of his decks, I almost said all of his dots, all of his decks seemed like they were aimed at targeting Druid. He went up against his previous opponent and 3-0'd the Druid. So his lineup did what his lineup was designed to do. Now his opponent Karashin has Rogue, Mage, and Warlock, no Druid. So I don't know how well Dots... Yeah, very surprising. I don't know how well Dots' strategy of targeting Druid is going to work against an opponent that doesn't have Druid. I don't know if he faced that on the way through the open bracket to get here, but it could be a little bit tricky. Karashin bringing Oil Rogue, Tempo Mage, and I think it was Zoo. I'm pretty sure it was Zoo. So it's going to be interesting to see how well Dots is able to handle himself while his opponent does not have Druid.
Sure, yeah, that's definitely a good point.
Yeah, the Rogue...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say the Rogue should be able to do a lot of work here. Rogue being pretty good against Secret Paladin and pretty good against Warlock, and might even be okay against Aggro Shaman. Typically, that matchup is heavily favored for the Shaman, but with extra minions, especially the extra 3-2 with Tuskar Totemic in there, just being vulnerable to SI and Backstab, could really play against the Shaman.
Well, we're going to find out what happens in Game 1 here of the Elephino Open number 15 Finals. We got Karashin on the bottom of your screen, opening up with the Tempo Mage, and Dots on the top of your screen, opening up with his Warlock. Does look like a Zoo variation, as Firebat pointed out earlier. So we'll see what happens. What do you think about this lineup, or this matchup?
Typically, the Zoo has a very, very good time against the Tempo Mage. Tempo Mage really relies on having tempo to win the game. Kind of self-explanatory there. It's called Tempo Mage. But, yeah, so Zoo's really good at denying Tempo Mage from getting tempo by playing a lot of small minions, being really aggressive, having a lot of 1 and 2 drops that can get the board really quickly. So if Tempo Mage doesn't get the board, then they're simply removing every turn and not pushing any damage with any minions. And if you're not dealing any damage, you're not winning the game.
Right, because the Tempo Mage, what they want to do if they have to, if they lose the board, they want to be able to bring it back by using a highly efficient spell to clear off whatever minion you have on board, and then play one of their own on top of it to take the board back, and then hopefully keep that position.
Yeah, exactly. And their removal spells such as like Flame Cannon, Frostbolt are great against single targets, but against the Zoo board with a lot of small, really resilient minions, it's really tricky to get through, whereas the Zoo then runs buff cards on those resilient minions, which trades much more efficiently than removal spells can possibly trade.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the coin Arcane Blast here, would have denied the efficient trade on the Mad Scientist, and that kind of would have been a way for him to gain tempo going forward, but I think he saved it so he could coin the Shredder, perhaps?
Yeah, coining the Shredder's going to be pretty huge. He really needs to have strong minions in the field, and also possibly if he finds a better turn 3 play, maybe he saves the coin for some sort of huge Flamewaker turn where he's used the Arcane Blast, the coin, all of his cards, all in one turn to try and take back the board, and that looks like what he's saving for by just using Unstable Portal here.
Not Ouch. The best Unstable Portal.
Yeah.
High attack, but very weak health.
Yeah, that's gonna trade with a 1-drop. So your 2-drop trades for a 1-drop. It's not the biggest deal in the world. And yeah, again, he's just holding on to the Arcane Blast, holding on to the coin, holding on to the Frostbolt. He knows this is a bad matchup, so he's taking a risk, hoping that he's going to be able to find this Flamewaker in time, and the Flamewaker is going to be able to land the missiles in the right spots to be able to deal enough to clear the board.
The Ruby and Egg is going to have something to say about that. Just going to hope to take some of those Flamewaker shenanigans if they ever come out.
Mm-hmm. He opts to keep the 1-2 alive, just prioritizing minions with more health, having a stickier board.
Yeah, preventing just a ping from clearing off a minion.
Mm-hmm.
If that had to be Karajan's turn. And
Yeah,
it might have
like
been.
it Sea Giant can come down this turn.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Holy
that's huge.
smokes. I mean, he's thinking between Sea Giant or Implosion. I don't know, 8/8s are pretty good.
Yeah,
he can even
if he
trade
trades
the
in the
Haunted.
Creeper. Yeah, I think you're going to say the same thing. Go for it.
Yeah. If he trades in the Haunted Creeper, he can use the power of Whelming on the egg to create a 4/4 and have a 8/8 and a 4/4 on the board.
Exactly. And clear off the Shredder in the process.
Yeah. That's really aggressive, though. It makes him more vulnerable to Flamewaker shenanigans, but you got an 8/8 on the field. Do you really care?
8/8 and a 4/4? Yeah, both of those are very, very resilient to Flamewaker.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
And potentially denies value from the Piloted Shredder trading off your Voidwalker, depending on what comes out of it.
Sure, yeah. No Flamewaker for Karashin, so it's going to be difficult for him to try and recover the board in any shape or form.
Yeah, a lot of low spells that are not great at all. Unless you can combo them. Just a really awkward, clunky hand.
Oh, he's given up on the Flamewaker.
Yeah, he has to. He's finally at that point where he's going to have to... This Piloted Shredder's going to have to get crazy work in. That's his only minion currently.
And it's gone.
If you don't count on Stable Portal.
Implosion's only 2 though, so he's got a shot here. Could potentially make some waves. And I think we're gonna be seeing maybe a Power of Whelming try and protect the Sea Giant more, but I could get behind a tap as well.
Yeah, when your hand's double Power Overwhelming, yeah.
Yeah. So now what do we do? We got Flame Cannon, not great on a board full of 1/1s, an egg, and a creeper.
Yeah, I mean you could clear off the 1/1s first, but even so, very risky.
Looks like he's gonna go with Portal and probably just Fireball the Sea Giant. Ooh, Summoning Stone's that's a good card in Temple Mage.
Yeah,
especially at 3 mana.
We just talked about having all the spells and no minions, and hold the phone.
Yeah,
you got a card that gives you minions from those spells, so that could be huge.
Yeah, some esports here potentially could come into play. It's esports to get the Summoning Stone, and then it's esports for every minion off the Summoning Stone, so...
Yeah, just crazy value. A 3 mana Summoning Stone.
Looks like he's thinking about buffing the egg to try and get the 4/4 out. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't mind the additional cost since he's not playing the Doomguard or any of the other cards in his hand, really. So he still has enough mana to play Haunted Creeper.
Yeah, it just prevents him from tapping, basically, this turn if he wanted to.
Yeah, he just wants to get pressure out with that 4/4, try and set up lethal with his Doomguard. And here comes the spells.
He even picks up the Apprentice to make those cheaper.
Yeah, he can play the Apprentice and then play 3 spells in his hand.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he opts to go for Counterspell because it has more impact on the board than Arcane Intellect has. Arcane Intellect, you can't play the cards you draw off of it this turn, so it really doesn't accomplish much. Yeah, Captain's Parrot, not very good.
That hurts as well.
Yeah, Wisp. And does he hit the 4/4? Oh, no.
It's going to draw some attention, but not very much.
Yeah, those minions sucked. Oh my gosh, the Enhanced Mechano with the double Power Overwhelming for the finish if any of them get Wind Fury.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna hurt.
But only 1 Power Overwhelming is going to be able to see play because of the Counterspell. But it probably is still enough.
Yeah, I think that's all. I think that's only gonna matter. Ooh, the 4/4 hits.
The biggest minion.
So that's 16 damage. That's 20 damage with just a Power Overwhelming. So yeah, that's gonna be if he sees it, and I imagine he does.
Yeah, he's just counting and then recounting. Wow, that is that Enhanso Mechano has been coming in pretty clutch. That's 2 games now that Dots has been able to win. Just close out with that Enhanso Mechano.
So, yeah, huge. I believe he hit on a Rubian Weblord with the Doomguard or with the Power Overwhelming with Wind Fury last time to win the game.
Same exact combo. And that's a card that originally people wrote off as a win more card and said that it was never going to see play. We saw it come out to play a little bit like 6 months ago in the Asian scene, and now we're starting to see it come into play in the North American scene and the European scene just over the last month. So turns out Asia was ahead of the meta.
Yeah, they usually have a little different mindset. They have a little different approach to the game over there usually, and we don't get to see it a whole lot because we're pretty isolated from the Chinese scene for the most part. So unless you're like really connected to the scene, a lot of like Twitch viewers and stuff don't get to see those styles.
Yeah, and now it's starting to gain popularity here. We have Kershin replaying the mage deck, coming up against the paladin. And typically speaking, I'd have to give the edge to the paladin for the same exact reason that the zoo has the edge. The paladin just builds such a resilient board so quickly that tempo mage can't really get tempo from it.
Yeah, so you talked about Dots not being able to target Druid from Karajin, but it looks like he's going to be targeting this tempo mage pretty well.
Yeah, it's coming out like that, yeah. And we see Dots has some tech cards in his secret paladin that maybe are designed to help increase the consistency against Druid. We see the Flame Juggler in there, just extra 2-drops against Druid. The best thing against Druid, generally speaking, is just more early game pressure. So Flame Juggler, just increasing your consistency to find a 2-drop, makes a lot of sense when you're targeting Druid.
Yeah, it's a 2-drop. It doesn't die right away to Living Roots, and it potentially even kills off one of those Living Roots if they were fortunate enough to have that on turn 1. That could be a huge swing turn right off the bat.
Can take a favorable trade with Aspirant potentially as well.
Sure.
See the missiles come out to clean this up. Tempo Mage looking like it might be getting tempo.
Yeah, those juggles came in good. He didn't waste any damage on the Flame Juggler, so he doesn't have to clear that off now if he doesn't want to. Looks like he might be anyway.
Yeah, just taking the full clear here and getting the secret out. It's probably just because he really wants to prioritize getting the secret out. We've seen Counterspell from him, but we haven't seen any other secrets. Looks like he might be running like a double Counterspell list. Dots has the coin, though, so that Counterspell is not going to be countering much.
But he's got to play around Mirror Entity, so he's hesitant to play that Piloted Shredder.
Mm-hmm. He could potentially coin first if he wanted to try and check for Counterspell or Mirror Entity, but either way, at the end of the day, what are his options? He has to play Shredder regardless,
Yeah,
right?
because if he coins and it's Counterspell, he's happy. He can play the Shredder, but if he coins and it's not, he has 5 mana to do Shredder and Noble Sacrifice. Yeah, so he doesn't have like a 1-drop to... Yeah, pretty
thinking about like playing Keeper of Uldaman, but it's just like weak on the board even. And even if it is Mirror Entity, like you're not in a much better spot if they have a Keeper of Uldaman. So I really dislike this play. I think you kind of just have to bite it and play the Shredder. It's like your only option. Yeah. He agrees at the end of the day. But I mean, like it's worth thinking about for sure.
Oh, absolutely. He gets rewarded for for just going for it there. Now Karajin has his own Piloted Shredder to answer it. Seems pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm. Counterspell, interesting secret against Secret Paladin. Secret Paladin has a lot of ways to deal with Counterspell with just all of their secrets.
Sure.
You don't mind any of the secrets getting counterspelled, so they generally speaking have a tool to deal with Counterspell.
Yeah, just toss out a Competitive Spirit. No big deal really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see the Uldaman come down on the Shredder and then play the Avenge and then just go face with your Piloted Shredder. I don't think you really need to trade into either of these minions, or if you're going to trade into a minion, I would trade into the Scientist after the fact. But it just opens your Shredder up to getting pinged then. But you need to put something on the board is really the reason why you got to play Uldaman. You just want to have as much pressure on the board going into your Mysterious Challenger turn, and if you get Avenge down, it makes it a lot harder for your opponent to deal with your board.
Maybe he's going to take this trade first so he can keep her his own 1-drop or his own 2-drop.
Okay. I like this play too. This play is arguably, I think this play is better than the play I suggested. So pretty creative use of trading the Shredders there.
It looks pretty good. He can set up one of those secrets if he wants to. My guess would be the Avenge, but maybe the Redemption.
Yeah. Redemption bringing back to life the Unstable Ghoul. Could potentially, I guess, clear the board. Yeah, they're all set to 2 health now, so 2 Unstable Ghouls kills all those minions, but... And that's what it's going to do.
Yeah, that looks good.
I don't know if that's better than Avenge, but
Yeah, I think Avenge would have been slightly better there, but maybe he was hoping Kerosene would extend minions into it first before making the trades. I don't know. And then he could have gotten more value out of it.
I mean, if Kerosene were to like frostbolt it or something like that, he would have got huge value because then it would just immediately come back to life. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah, because if it's not redemption, then any frostbolts that, then if your carrier's inside of you, you've got 2 minions on board to trade into the minion that got avenged, right? So that could have been huge for him, but so maybe that's what Dots was thinking about, a couple steps ahead even.
Yeah, Mysterious Challenger getting Mirror Entity doesn't feel great, but you do have the Noble Sacrifice to prevent it from just trading in super efficiently. Kerosene has the ability to kill this if he wants, but is that what he wants to do? I mean, do you win if you trade here? Your opponent has 4 cards, you're down to none. So the value game, is it really the game you're going to win?
It's hard to say, especially with Tyrion coming up here in a couple turns.
Yeah, you don't usually anticipate Secret Paladin having this big of a top end curve left, but Dots has a big top end curve left, so he's going to be able to continue playing big minions and slow down this game a lot. And Kerosene doesn't have that much fuel in the tank. I think his decision there was heavily based on the fact that he was able to unstable portal into a quite large minion with Shield Maiden. If he had gotten a smaller minion there, I think he would have just went face. But since he's got this big minion, he feels like he can, even though Secret Paladin has so many cards up on him, he's hoping some of them are probably secrets or smaller minions, and then he can just take him to Value Town with the big Shield Maiden.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Mysterious Challenger coming down here again, along with the Avenge, undoubtedly. Pulls out an extra secret. Let's hover over those for our viewers and ourselves at home. So we got Avenge, Competitive Spirit, and Noble Sacrifice for Dots.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for the Paladin here. Like, the Mage opting to go for the value game, and then the Paladin having all of his late game, basically, except for Dr. Boom. And now the Mage is kind of in a position where he's like, oh, geez, now I can't kill this. Maybe I have to race now. I can't imagine him trading.
He could if he wants to, but like you pointed out, he's going to run out of damage, so he's got to put the pressure on. Force Dots to clear it off.
And Kerosene's got to be thinking he's in a good spot. He's just thinking, as long as Tyrion doesn't come down, I win.
Yeah. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, those are always the moments where Tyrion comes down. So Dots is probably going to trade the 10-7 into the 5-5 and drop the Tyrion. This way the 10-7 goes down to 10-2 and not 10-1, so it doesn't die to just the hero power and is kind of protected.
Although at the same time, the 6-attack minion can kill off the
Tyrion, I guess, yeah.
But that, like you said, it's not any different than he could run the Shield Maiden and ping it the other way too. So I guess that really doesn't make any difference.
Well, it looks like he's going to go for this clear instead. He figures his opponent has no cards, 9 health is enough life. Save Tyrion for after the fact.
Yeah, no minions are dead to a ping. So.
Yeah, nothing off the top kills him, so yeah, that's a good line.
Seems pretty good.
Seems like he knows what he's doing, that's for sure. Pings face instead of pinging the Mysterious Challenger. So he's committing to trying to get that burn damage over the top out over a few turns. If he's able to put together a fireball, he can still win this game. But his opponent has 16, 19, 20 damage on the board.
There's the Frostbolt, so he's going to have to kill the Mysterious Challenger.
And ping the face to try and set up for Fireball top tick to be lethal. So Kerosene still has outs to win this game. How many cards does he have remaining?
Absolutely. Let's see. Kerosene has 13, and they both have 13 cards left.
And Kerosene's used 1 Fireball this match, so he's got a 1 out of 13 chance to take this game.
I mean, maybe he's running Pyroblast. We don't know. That could be it, too. He may have more outs than we think. Or maybe Stall if he's got a Blizzard or something tucked in there.
He's got 1 Arcane Intellect left, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good call. That could...
Azure Drakes haven't been played yet. He hasn't played Ethereal Conjurer yet. So he's got 2 Azure Drakes, some amount of Ethereal Conjurers.
Let's see what happens.
A few outs.
Dr. Boom is not
Dr.
one of them. Unfortunately, this is not a problem Dr. Boom can solve.
Yeah, it was close though. It was really back and forth, and then at the end of the day, the Temple Mage. It was that. Oh, yeah, the boom bot. At the end of the day, it was like that point where he got that Shield Maiden destroyed him because he seemed like he wanted to go face there, like really bad, because he was running out of cards. He didn't have very much gas left in the tank, and his opponent had 4 cards. And then he Unstable Portals gets Shield Maiden, and that changed his decision around from going face to just trying to play the control game because he's like, well, Shield Maiden's a really high value card. This is a 5/5. And I'm versus a Secret Paladin, which generally has pretty low value cards. So let's just ride this out, control the board, and maybe try and get some chip damage through with minions instead of going all face. And that might have made the difference between having that 7 damage and not having that 7 damage, because little did he know, Dots actually had just a hand chock full of value with just huge minions such as Double Mysterious Challenger and Tyrion.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I absolutely agree with you, but it's just funny that a control card or a control warrior card made him play more aggressive, potentially. He had a slower card. Yeah.
Yeah, if he would have just had just some random 1-drop there, I think he would have played it and just went all face. Zombie Chow from the Reno Lock, extremely good against the Shaman, but the Shaman having Doomhammer on 5 is terrifying. Just absolutely terrifying. And he can't really deal with this Totem Golem, so that's going to pick up a lot of value and be able to protect this Knife Juggler. He's thinking about not trading. If he's not trading, then he's playing the Flame Juggler. So he's going to play Flame Juggler, go face, instead of trading to play Knife Juggler.
Well, you call it. Right. It's a smart deck.
He's going to trade and play Flame Juggler. I guess this plays around Demon Wrath better. So good call by him.
But it's interesting that he played that first if he was going to trade.
Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe if it hits it, he's not going to trade because then it has a better, easier time dying on board.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a misplay like right out the gate.
No, I'm not either. I was curious what you thought about it. But yeah, that makes sense because he would he plays that to prevent the value trade coming down on the Knife Juggler.
Yeah, on the Flame Juggler, yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, because the Zombie Chow could get buffed by Abusive Sergeant or just trade in and Mortal Coil.
Right.
So, yeah, it makes sense. Demon Wrath picking up some huge value in conjunction with these imps. Wow. Hager Shaman not coming off to a great start here. Dots has the option to either develop minions or develop the hammer.
See what this discard Totemic can do. If he can do... not so much as he'd had the previous times we saw him out.
Last times he was able to get the Manatide Totem, and he was able to get the Totem Golem. It was just absolutely disgusting. The Warlock hero power drawn, though, is pretty huge. It's going to allow him to try and find those Rock Biters pretty consistently, actually.
This Lotheb here looks like he's setting up for a potential Hellfire next turn. You saw him hover over the Hellfire. I don't know if this will change his decision or not.
I think he was really hoping to try and get this Mind Control tech off. Play the Lotheb here, force your opponent not to be able to play spells, so they have to play minions to then get it up to 4 minions so that Mind Control tech could hit value. But unfortunately for him, Dots has Doomhammer and is playing that instead of minions.
Yeah, so the Sludge Belcher are going to be really good here. Looks like a pretty good option. Get some value trades with Lotheb. Try to stall out the game a little bit longer. Dots with that life tap, though, is going to prevent him from fizzling out.
Yeah, life tap keeps a little bit of fuel in the tank, that's for sure. Does he even want to use it here? Or does he want to just fully extend onto the board?
Well, you could Crackle first into the Sludge Belcher and see what you roll.
Yeah, I like that line. Just Crackle first, see what happens. Maybe it's good. And then you can decide if you want to play Argent Horse Rider or tap. He agrees with you. Good call.
So here, well, we'll find out. Does roll a 4, so he can trade in that with the Finley or a charge of the Doomhammer. He's going to take 3. It seems better. Since he's low on minions, as you said. Trading in the board didn't seem too good.
And it looks like he's going to be playing the Argent Horse Rider to trade into the Lotheb. So he's realizing that face damage isn't the most important thing right now because his opponent's out is Reno. So he just wants to be controlling the board, preserving a big board. So if Reno does come down, he has a sizable board to mount against it.
Yeah, he has the Hellfire, but that sets him down to 11.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
What could possibly go wrong? Your opponent's in top deck mode. Oh wait, he's got life tap. So
yeah, man, just tap Hellfire, embrace it.
It'll be 9. You're just dead to Rockbiter. No sweat. No sweat.
I mean, you'll find Reno, right? Easy.
Well, even if he taps here into Reno, he can't play it. So he's gonna have to go. Looks like the Dark Bomb probably pretty good. You could try to tap and hope for a Mortal Coil, maybe. Or just play super safe and Siphon Soul something. But I kind of like the Paladin Shredder Dark Bomb. Looks like that's what he's going to go with as well.
It's like the middle of the road safest play, right? So
yeah, definitely.
Flame Juggler, not the greatest here. Lava Bird's pretty good. He's got 11.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive he wants to go here.
Yeah, this looks like he is going to swing the Doomhammer charges to make sure he's setting up lethal, which I think is really important. Like, playing around Reno Jackson's great and all, but you definitely want to be setting up lethal still. You got to make him have it.
Sure. Yeah, and the longer it goes on, the more likely they are to have it. So.
And he does not have it. So, he's living on the edge here.
Puts him up to
He's
10.
got one
He's
light.
out of curve. That's going to be lethal right there.
That's the end.
Is that Argent Horse Rider?
Here.
That means Dots is going to take Game 3 here and finish off a sweep in the finals of Elephino Open number 15.
And Dots was able to take a sweep against his first opponent, take a sweep against his second opponent. That's very impressive. Very impressive. And he wasn't playing, like, he was playing standard decks, but they weren't like normal standard decks. We saw interesting choices in the Paladin with the inclusion of some extra 2-drops. We saw interesting choices in the Shaman with inclusion of extra minions, such as the Tuskar Totemic. And his tech choices really worked out for him. He was able to target Druid successfully, and he was able to be a little bit more board-oriented than Temple Mage and be able to target that out successfully and really do well just dominating the early game.
Yeah, he drew well. He had the matchups that he wanted, took advantage of those matchups when he got them, and just really high skill level play on his part, and it just worked out.
Yeah. So
that's pretty much all I got to say on that. Good curve.
Yeah,
good
it comes out to good lineup building, really. It's like a lot of people say in Conquest that the lineups don't matter, right? Because the pick order doesn't really matter in Conquest. You can't really do anything with Conquest, and the meta's stale, and everybody just plays Druid and flips coins. But it's the little tech changes that really give you the advantage when you know you're going to be going up flipping coins. And he had those extra minions in those aggro matchups, which allowed him to more consistently get the board against the aggro matchups, which is why he ended up 3-0ing both of his opponents here and coming out on top.
Yeah, very well played. But that'll do it for the tournament. Dots will be Elephino Open number 15 champion. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Karashin finishing second. No small feat. So let's show you the bracket real quick so you can see. Doesn't have the final score on there, but you just saw that Dots won it 3 games to nothing. And you can see the prizes on the left side of your screen. So the World Championship points, or the bigger points there, will help them get into those larger qualifying tournaments. So
yeah, hopefully we see some of the people that we've been able to cast here make it all the way to regionals and start trying to make their way towards BlizzCon. See how far that maybe Karashan with his Oil Rogue or Dots with his teched out Face Shaman can go. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to see. Hey, I know those guys. They played in my
tournament.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's really cool. We're glad that they. I hope they had fun playing in here, but we're definitely glad to have them and wish them luck in their Hearthstone careers. So that'll be really cool to see. But that'll do it for us. We'll do some quick thank yous, some sellout thank yous to Strivewire. You can see their logo on the bottom of your screen. There are websites, strivewire.com, that host just a whole bunch of open tournaments. So whether you're in the NA or the EU scene, definitely check out strivewire.com if you want to get involved in open Hearthstone tournaments. That's the place to be. Check them out, and you'll hopefully have some fun playing tournaments like this. The next Elephino Open number 16 will be next Sunday. We host this tournament every Sunday. The tournament starts at 12 p.m. Central Time, and the cast you can see again on my channel and Firebat's channel, both of which you can see on the bottom of our screen under our names. So definitely feel free to check those out next Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, that should be. It looks like it's going to be enough sellout for us. The VODs will be on YouTube, so if you missed any of the action, you can check out the VODs on our Twitch channels, or they will be up on YouTube without the breaks. So feel free to check those out. Firebat, any closing words?
Not really. I just want to say thanks to everybody that came out to watch the tournament. Really appreciate the viewership. I know a lot of people that typically watch my channel don't really expect to see just random open tournaments being on my channel, but I'm a big supporter of the open tournament scene. I don't really have the ability to run my own open tournaments right now, so I'm living my open tournament dreams through Elephino right now, so living through him for a little bit, but I really like the open tournament scene. I want to see it grow. I want to see more people get involved in open tournaments, and I want to see it be kind of the main stage way over invitationals, because it's how I came up and became a player, and I want to give the same opportunity to whoever else wants to put in the work to try and earn it. So I appreciate people coming out to actually watch it, and I hope people enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it, and I was really fortunate to be teamed up, I guess, on some level with Firebat here. I'm really fortunate and thank him for allowing me to cast this on his channel every week. Whether he's able to cast or not, he still allows me to put it on there. So that'll do it for us. Thank you for watching. Thank all the players for competing and our sponsors. So hope you enjoyed watching it, and you'll tune in or compete next Sunday. That'll do it for us. Have a good one.